This is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and in the background you can see all this metal work that is going up, and it's going to be an RV storage field or lot, whatever you want to call it. And and I've flown over this pad of blacktop bunches of times, and kept wondering what they were going to be building here, because they have that little small building over there, and then this huge parking area. So we're gonna, as I leave this site, we're gonna head back the opposite direction, and we'll fly over a house where some folks let me take off from their front yard to do some filming, and they told me that since it's right behind their house, that it's going to be a RV storage unit. Well, that answered the question, why the big parking lot? And so, as you know, I like to follow construction sites and so forth, since there's not a whole lot more for me to film around here where I live. That's all that's going on. So anyway, we'll spend some time flying over and watching them work. And when I do the filming, I don't see all the details on my tablet that is going on. So I'll try to point out some things as we fly around here. Also, I will be telling you some stories. And since it's the 9th of December, I might just start telling some Christmas stories from my life. And right up there in the center of the screen near the top, you can see where there's a machine that's lifting up a beam that's going to go, he's going to try to get it up high to go between the beams that are sticking out there. And I think you can see what I'm talking about. And then there's all kinds of other things going on. Way at the very bottom, there's a guy painting the beams. He's up on a man lift and painting the beams. And so, anyway, so we'll point some things out as we fly around here, and I'll tell you some Christmas stories. So here's a picture of my very first Christmas. I was 1 year old, and I don't know why I look so amazed in the picture, but anyway, so it might have been the flash bulb or something. I'm sure they had to use a flash bulb back then. So anyway, and on the right side of the screen, there's a big, huge teddy bear. And by the way, this guy that's driving the forklift coming towards us there, we'll kind of follow him, see what he's going to do, and there's a couple other things I'll point out. Anyway, so that big, huge teddy bear, and then on the other side, on the left side of the screen, there's a smaller one. And then I can see I've got some other stuffed animals there. And the only one I remember keeping was the smaller teddy bear. And I had that for years, as a matter of fact. I don't remember, I must have been at least 10 years old, and I still had it. And, of course, I didn't cuddle with it. I kind of threw it around, watched it bounce down the stairs and things like that by the time I was 10 years old. But anyway, so, and then if you look behind me at the Christmas tree, you'll notice that my folks, they decorated for Christmas full bore. They put up everything. And then I've got some pictures of the old-fashioned Christmas lights. I tried to find some on the Pixabay and other places of the old kind, and I found one picture that I had to doctor up because they just don't have them anymore. And when you type in antique Christmas lights, you get the fatter ones, the pointed ones, the long, narrow, pointed ones. Are what my folks had there in that picture. They were supposed to resemble a flame, and so that's what they had. And as I remember, there was 12 of them in a string, and they were in series, which means that if one burned out, they all went out. So then you had to go along and try to find unscrew each bulb and go down until you found the one that was burned out, and then they would all come back on again. And up on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see they're working on a larger forklift. And I don't know what's wrong with it, but I think it's supposed to be doing what the forklift in the center of the screen up there is doing. He's trying to put that beam on top of those two posts and keep it from falling down on him, because you can see where he's sitting, and doing any damage. And those beams, I'm sure, are very heavy. So that's why if that blue one there that they're working on the right, if it falls off of that, well, then it doesn't land on top of the operator. So kind of precarious there. But anyway, so those light bulbs, I don't think you can get them anymore. But my dad liked them because if you have 12 of them in a string and you got 110 volts, then pretty much you got about 10 or 12 volts on each bulb. Whereas the fatter bulbs, which my folks eventually started using, you had 110 volts running along the whole line, and each bulb socket had 110 volts on it, which is enough to give you quite a shock. So anyway, those are the kind of Christmas tree lights that we had when I was a kid. There was no such thing as LED lights or any of those other kind. Eventually, as you know, they came out with the lights that they weren't LED, but they were very, very small and sparkly type of things, and so that's where people finally went to them. You even find those as antique Christmas lights. So anyway, but my folks, they decorated everything really, really fancy and did all the Christmas stuff, and it wasn't at that age, I don't remember much. It wasn't until I probably got about I remember I was probably 3 years old, and I think we were at my grandma's house for Christmas because of what I did. Back in those days, they didn't have plastic toys. Either had a metal toy or a toy made out of wood. And somebody gave me a helicopter. Now, the house on the left that we're flying over here, that's the house where I visited with the people, really super nice people. And I took off from their front porch there. And so they were nice enough to let me do that. And then we had a long conversation. They were super, super nice people. Well, anyway, the story of the helicopter was it was made out of wood. And so when I opened that, and then everybody was sitting around opening their gifts and everything, and somebody else had given me a little saw. And so I thought, well, what am I going to saw? And then I looked at the wooden helicopter. So very quietly, I snuck off in the kitchen and got behind a wall in the corner. And I sawed the propeller blades off of my little helicopter. I don't remember what happened, but I don't think they were too happy with me. But anyway, I found a use for my saw. They probably took it away from me after that, because I don't remember ever using it again. But anyway, so those are some stories of my early Christmases, and that was when we were living in Wyoming, in Cheyenne. And then my folks, they moved to Washington State in 1946, and I got some memories from that. So as we get into the Christmas season, I'll try to share some more of my stories about my Christmases, and the ones that I remember anyway. And I've got some stories. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching my video, and God bless.